If you didn't know, Neuralink is a neural interface technology company that Elon Musk is running. And essentially, they're developing a microchip that can be implanted in your brain, which will basically make you essentially like, for lack of a better word, like a cyborg. To quote Elon Musk on this, he's basically has called Neuralink like a Fitbit for your brain. It's a microchip that kind of monitors your brain activity and can simulate, brain activity. In fact, one of the coolest things I've seen come out of Neuralink is a test they've done with a chimpanzee, I believe. They basically implanted a Neuralink in a monkey's brain. And there's a video online. And in fact, I'll show it to you if you're watching this on YouTube. Actually, let's just watch it. It's a monkey basically playing video games. He's playing Pong, the classic game where you move, your line and you bounce the ball back and forth. You can't let it, your blocks, can't let it get past whatever those two lines are. Wow, that's probably the worst explanation of Pong ever given. But everyone knows what Pong is, hopefully. But yeah, here's the video.
One of the things the Neuralinks allow Pager to do is to play his favourite video game, Pong. To control his paddle, on the right side of the screen, Pager simply thinks about moving his hand up or down. We've removed the joystick altogether. Now that he's up to speed, let's increase the difficulty and see how well Pager can play with the Neuralink. As you can see, Pager is amazingly good at Mind Pong. He's focused, and he's playing entirely of his own volition. It's not magic. The reason Neuralink works is because it's recording and decoding electrical signals from the brain. Great game, Pager. And what better reward for a monkey than a banana?
So Neuralink's legit. It has monkeys playing video games with their brain. So how does that play into blindness? All right, here we go. Let's talk about that. The article is titled, Neuralink's upgraded brain chip hopes to help the blind see and the paralyzed walk. And I'll have a link in the show description if you want to read this full article, because I'm just going to take bits and pieces of it. So here we go. Let's cover it. The latest version of the company's N1 chip, which they're talking about, the Neuralink, the chip that goes in your brain. It's called an N1 chip, is intended to be implanted in brains and spines. Neuralink, the startup Elon Musk helped found to connect our brains directly to computers, showed how much progress it's made since its monkey mind Pong moment in 2021. In a wide-ranging update on November 30th, 2022, I'm guessing, Musk and a handful of researchers explained how the latest version of the company's implantable brain chip might help the blind see or restore movement to those with spinal cord injuries. The company, one of the 5 that Musk leads, is working on technology to drop thousands of electrodes thinner than a hair into the outer surface of human brains. So this is how Neuralink works. Each electrode is a tiny wire connected to a battery-powered, remotely charged, quarter-sized chip package that's embedded into a spot that once held a circle of skull. The chip, called the N1, communicates wirelessly with the outside world. The technology is still far from initial medical uses, much less Musk's ultimate vision of using Neuralink to hang out with superintelligent AIs, but the company is making significant progress, including applying with the Food and Drug Administration to begin human trials. It hopes to start within 6 months. Yeah, they want to start human trials for the Neuralink. That's wild. Would you sign up to be a part of that trial? I don't know. But let's cover more of this article. It says, our goal, and here we go, guys. This is what it's talking about with blindness. Our goal will be to turn the lights on for someone who spent decades living in the dark, said Neuralink researcher Dan Adams, who's working on the effort to repackage camera data into a brain-compatible format and pipe it directly to the visual cortex. And I may be wrong. I'm not a medical doctor, so if I say anything wrong, you can claim misinformation on me. But if you think about it, like our eyes are just basically sending signals to our brain to tell us what what we're seeing. But the brain is really what's showing us what we see. Isn't that weird to think about? It's almost like the eyes are cameras for the brain. So once, if our camera breaks, there's no image, The eyes and brain are working, as one unit to show us what we see. So I guess what they're saying is, this chip, how they want to do it, is this, and I'm making this up basically. This is how I interpret this. I may be completely wrong, but how I see what they're talking about, what I envision they're talking about is they'll be able to use camera data, so some sort of external camera on your face probably will connect to the Neuralink in your brain. And that camera data will tell your brain what it's seeing, essentially letting you see. It's coded in a certain way that lets the brain actually know what's being sent to it. Your brain will then understand what the camera's showing, which will present you with vision. Pretty wild. On another note, it says Neuralink tech to help people with quadriplegia walk. Previously, Neuralink showed how its electrodes can listen in on brain activity by capturing brain signals from a monkey named Pager that played the classic Pong video game. At a recent event, they revealed a new trick from a different monkey. A monkey named Sake used its mind to follow prompts and to type on a virtual keyboard. The implants charge wirelessly with monkeys coaxed by a fruit smoothie to sit beneath a charger embedded in a branch immediately above their heads. But Wednesday's biggest developments use those same electrodes to signals back to the neurons that make up the brain and nervous system. One experiment used electrodes in a pig's spinal cord to control different leg movements, a technology that could lead eventually to helping people with quadriplegia walk or use their hands. Neuralink's approach involves not just intercepting the brain's movement commands and shunting them to the legs, but also hearing the sensory signals from those extremities and sending them back to the brain so the brain knows what's going on. Wild. And it says they have a lot of work to do to achieve this vision, but I hope you can see how the pieces are all there to achieve this. So he's saying, it's not there yet, but they basically have proof that this has a lot of potential and is already kind of working, and that they just need to fine tune it and make it better and better and better. They also mentioned in this article that Neuralink is not alone, that there's actually more companies doing the same thing, trying to come up with the same thing. So this isn't just an Elon Musk thing. This is something that a lot of people are working on, different companies are working on. So it's kind of exciting. Not only do you have, the gene therapy approaches going on, the stem cell therapy, the gene therapy, the gene therapy basically would help code blindness out of your genetic code altogether, in newborns, etc., like through CRISPR technology. And then there's stem cell therapy, which would help regenerate growth, in my eyes, for example, could help people who have lost vision, gain vision, or stabilize their vision. And on top of that, you got technology being developed that could potentially help blind people see. So you got a lot of things in the works. I'll remind everyone, if I have a kid, my kid has a 50% chance of having RP. So if all this is in the works now, let's say, when my kid reaches an age where if he has RP, it's affecting his vision, maybe by then there will be more resources and tools and ways to help him, retain his vision. So it's just interesting. That's why I like to keep up with it. And Elon Musk is like a hate him or love him type of guy. So I figured bringing up his name would make you click. So